What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today I have an extremely useful tips and tricks video for you if you are starting new franchises at this point in the Madden season. A lot of you guys I know, whenever you go to create a new franchise, will probably be using the use real life roster option. And that's totally understandable. That's what we do because it starts you with the real life stats, roster, and everything that comes with that. So if you use the real life roster option, and you go to the latest week, so you take it all the way up to the conference championship week, what's going to happen is there's going to be a glitch for you, and you might not have even realized that this is a thing, but it will glitch out for you. So I'm going to start this franchise real quick and then show you what's going on. So start playing. It's a draft order glitch, and what I want to show you guys is when you hop right into a franchise like this, as we know in real life, the Redskins are picking second. But the draft order is going to be all out of whack, and whenever you actually go to draft, it will give you a lot of glitches. It might even prevent you from actually picking players, and that can be a really big problem. As you guys can see here, it gives the Redskins pick 10 instead of pick 2, and for some reason, the entire draft order is all out of whack. I'll go ahead and advance to the offseason. Actually, I'll force the wins for those teams real quick, just so you know nothing funky is going on. We go to the playoff schedule, we force the Chiefs a win, we force the 49ers a win, we just go ahead and advance, and I'll show you guys that even when we get to the draft, it's going to screw up. We'll send to off-season. It's going to screw up what the draft order is. We'll go all the way to the draft and show you guys it, and then I'm going to show you guys exactly how to fix it here in a moment. I just want to show you guys that this is a big thing because if you're starting a new franchise at this point in the season, you're going to need to know this, especially if you're using the real life roster option. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Where's the start the draft option? So we start the draft here. The Redskins should have the second pick in the draft, but as you guys can see, the draft order is out of whack. So the Dolphins are picking first instead of the Bengals. The Buccaneers are picking second instead of the Redskins, and so on and so forth. All of these picks are way out of whack, and if I go ahead and advance to the next user pick, it'll take me up to the Redskins at pick 10, which is just odd. I don't know why it does this. Well, actually, I kind of have an idea of why it does this, but realistically speaking, what I'm going to do is show you guys how to just avoid this altogether so that you don't have this problem. So let's go ahead and delete that league real quick. And I have another league prepped and ready to go. So what you're going to want to do whenever you create a new league, and I'll go ahead and just show you exactly what you want to do. You want to go to use real life roster, and you're going to want to start on week 17. And there's a very specific reason why you want to start on week 17. So I'm not going to do that right this second, because what you have to do is you have to force the wins for the appropriate teams in order to make this work properly. So I'm going to jump into this league. Actually, that's the wrong one. Going to jump into the correct league and show you guys exactly what you need to do. We want to go with this one. And we are in week 17. So I started this franchise up. We're in week 17, and I want to show you that the same glitch happens. So what it's going to show you is your draft pick is going to be pick 10 or whatever. The Dolphins are going to have the first pick for no, real apparent reason. It's not going to line up with what the actual draft should be. So things are going to be out of order for you, out of whack. But what you need to do is you need to give it an opportunity to tick over, and it will only tick over during the regular season. So you have to start your franchise week 17 or earlier and force the wins for the teams that get those wins. If you don't do that in the playoffs, your draft picks will be locked in place, and they'll be locked in at these glitch spots where it's showing you that the teams have the incorrect draft picks. So as you can see, with the Redskins, for example, instead of pick 2, they have pick 10. So I know I've said that a couple times already, but just emphasizing the fact that it will say that no matter what when you start your franchise, but you have to give it an opportunity to reset itself. The way that it resets itself is during the regular season, it will recalculate where your first round pick is at the end of the regular season by your end standings. And so in order to actually have the picks count correctly, you have to have the Redskins finish as the second worst team, the Bengals as the worst team, and so on and so forth, and then it will reset the standings for you and actually reset the picks the way that they need to be. Instead of having the Bengals pick like pick 5 or something stupid like that and the Redskins pick 10, it will reset it because you're forcing the losses and you're giving it a regular season week to actually tick over to what they should be. So what you have to do, you have to look up the games for this week. You have to go to your league schedule, and you have to force the win for the teams that win it. So as you guys can see, for every single game that happens this week, I have the appropriate force win in place for the teams that win those games. On week 17, I'm sorry, but this is just the necessary evil to avoid the draft glitch, and instead of me having the 10th pick, what's going to happen is, as soon as I advance to the next week, it will reevaluate the season standings and whose records are what, and if I go to my roster and go to my draft picks, it will automatically show that my draft pick is pick number 2. So as you can see, it ticked over from pick 10 to pick 2, and that's all you need to do to fix that glitch and avoid having the draft be out of order, avoid teams having the incorrect picks, and avoid having draft glitches in general. You just have to start week 17 or earlier and then force the wins. And then it's super easy from here. All you have to do is go into the playoff schedule, and week by week, you can go in here and force the wins for the appropriate teams. So, go ahead and force the win for the Titans. We can go ahead and force, who all won these games? I don't even remember who won these games at this point. Texans won this game, I believe, and then it was Seahawks, Eagles. I don't know who won these games, but you force the wins for those games and you'll be able to advance. We'll just go ahead to off season and show you guys now. I can't believe I'm blanking on that, but if I sim up to the draft at this point, it will show you that the actual fix is in place now. I will have the second pick. Now, obviously, the lower picks will not be exact because I didn't force the appropriate wins, but all you have to do in your franchise is just go week by week and force those playoff wins. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. And when we start the draft now, as opposed to starting the draft in the postseason, or starting the league in the postseason, instead of the draft being out of order, you now have the correct order of picks. The Bengals are first, Redskins second, Lions third, Giants fourth, and so on. So that's the easy fix for it. If you don't want to have your draft picks out of order, don't start your real-life roster franchise in any postseason week. You have to do it in week 17 or earlier and force the wins week by week. And, once you tick over from week 17 to the wild card week, it will reset the standings and fix the picks to the correct order that they need to be. Now, I know this through firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience. I've had it happen to me. We did a whole off season and then got to this point. I was the Redskins, and I'm like, why do I have pick 10 and not pick 2? This is kind of an issue because that's a big difference. And so we had a lot of issues. It would glitch out with the draft. It wouldn't let certain users pick, so we had to keep pausing it and everybody leave the draft and then come back in. And it was just a total hassle. So hopefully you guys can avoid having those issues altogether if you're starting a new franchise at this point in the season, by just starting week 17 or earlier and force the wins the way that they are meant to be forced, and then you'll be able to play on from there. Make sure that you guys have the 49ers versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and you'll be good to go. So hopefully this helps you guys out in some way. I know that it's not maybe not a gameplay related or player related type of video, but it is something that I think is going to be extremely useful to some of the people out there that are having this problem and don't realize how to fix it. This is actually an issue that's been in Madden for a couple years now, and I don't know why they haven't fixed it. Whenever you create the franchise using the real life roster, for some reason, for the past couple years, it has completely glitched out the playoff standings and not the playoff standings, but the draft pick standings. And so when you're doing a real life roster, just make sure that you pick something before week 17 and then force the wins accordingly from that point forward. So like I said, if it helps you guys out in some way, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below anything else that you guys might be having trouble with or anything that you want to see. I'm more than happy to help. Just leave a comment, I'll answer you back and put it on my list of videos to make. Definitely make sure that you guys aren't starting in the wild card week, divisional week, or conference week, because you will have problems with the draft if you do that, especially if you have multiple users. We had like 4 or 5 users in our league, and it created mayhem. Everybody's pick was out of order. People couldn't pick the right players. It was saying that the AI team was like it said the Bills had like 5 picks in a row or something ridiculous like that. It was just super glitchy. So make sure that you start week 17 or earlier. Like I said, it's been a glitch for a while, and hopefully this will help avoid problems for you guys. So hopefully it helps you guys out. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.